Fortune and Strife features subjects which can be uncomfortable for a general audience, such as the use of drugs and alcohol, poor treatment of people of different classes or cultures, adult situations, psychological trauma, deprivation, survival, natural disasters, and violence. Listener discretion advised. In addition, these next few episodes of the show contain cultural and historical content based upon the peoples of Asia and the Far East. We are coming at this from a place of respect and genuine interest and a love of these cultures, places, and history. We may not get it 100% right all the time, and we ask you to bear with us and give us the benefit of the doubt, and we would let us know when we get it wrong. We want to be an ally in dispelling Orientalism that has affected the Asian and Middle Eastern communities around the world. Welcome to Fortune and Strife. I am Robert, or Bayoshi Shinichi, and I'll be your host and narrator.
I am Jeanne, and I am playing Doji Gen.
I am Tyler, and I am playing Akoto Ricci. Let's play some L5R in the Burning Sands.
So as the sun sets over the western dunes and the day starts to turn to night, you feel a bit of the heat still emanating off of the sands, beating up at you, but finally it is starting to cool down, and it is not long after that Sueno starts to regain consciousness and finds herself kind of coming to in the lap of Doji Gen. Doji-sama? Is that you?
Sueno, you're all right? Are you all right? You didn't break anything, did you?
She's kind of stretches and moves her arms and legs a bit, and I don't think so. It's a bit bashed and tossed about, but I think I'll be all right.
Gen helps Sueno to her feet and just out of sheer gratitude at being alive, gives her a quick embrace before releasing her, kind of blushing because Ricci's still there.
Yeah, and she kind of blushes along with you and says, "I'm so thankful that we're alive still after all that, and you as well, Akoto-sama."
Yeah, Ricci is politely ignoring what was happening over there, but maintaining, at least trying to help out the fox samurai that has also come along with us on this journey.
Mm-hmm. And you've removed their helmet and some of their armor to help them with breathing. They seem to be doing better, and it's not much longer after that they begin to kind of stir around to consciousness as well.
Oh, this should be interesting.
He just starts kind of coughing and in a fit of that of just hoarse coughing fit, and then the eyes kind of come to, and he scrambles around a bit and is just very put off and surprised by the amount of dust and dirt and sand being kicked up through the whole thing. Reaches around for a weapon, a spear that he was carrying, a yari that he had earlier, and soon is reaching towards his obi for a weapon, and kind of finds the wakizashi there, but doesn't quite draw it just yet, as he kind of starts to realize what is going on, his surroundings, and sees that it's the three of you and him alone out here, and he's just, what happened? What's gone on?
Peace, Kitsune-san. There has been strange times afoot. With that, we unfortunately don't have a good answer for you. As you can see, we're no longer in the forest.
We are not without questions.
I'm sure we are both at our wits' end to find what has possibly happened here. But fair enough, and he kind of takes his hand away from his wakizashi for now, Peace it'll be.
Gen steps forward a bit and bows. Since, despite our previous confrontation, it seems we are now in the same boat, as it were. I have not met you. My name is Doji Gen. This is my assistant, Sueno.
And I'm Makoto Ricci.
May we have your name?
He bows towards the three of you. I am Kitsune Hayate. You will forgive me for our earlier hostilities, but we were under orders from our lord to capture the Kitsune that has been thieving from our peoples for years. We hope you understand this. This creature more than likely had you fooled as well.
Gen shoots a glance at Ricci.
Ricci blushes a little bit and says, indeed, he'd had us fooled to an extent as well. But we have known him for quite some time, and he did look like he was in pain. But I fear that the ritual that was being done there, I guess, has had some sort of catastrophic failure. And now we are here, wherever here is.
Do we have any idea how far we've been flung?
I cannot say exactly, but judging from the time it is now, and from the position of the stars and the phase of the moon and the time of recorded sunset, I would estimate that we have lost only a day, but in that day we have traveled past the western border of the empire into what I believe may be the area of the Burning Sands to the northwest. These things are very hard to tell. The position of the stars indicates that we are likely north by a fair distance. But as I said, the hour of the sunset compared to the star position seems to indicate that we have moved that far west.
He kind of looks up and tries to do some of his own bit of understanding in his head, but he is lost. This is not the navigation that a Kitsune is accustomed to, moving throughout the forests and the lush fields of Rokugan and up and down the rivers. There is no help to him out here. I will have to take your word for it then. I am lost here without the trees.
I believe we're all lost on this one.
I mean, how far to the northwest? My peoples, we settled in those lands even before the Kirin left, and I mean, perhaps we're just past the plains above evil, not far. We could hopefully be back in a few days, perhaps.
Well, I'm afraid that we might be far north of the northern wall.
I am not a navigator. This is a few calculations based on what I remember from last night's stars as we headed out. But we won't. She takes a moment to collect herself because it's really bad news. Even if we were but 4 days from the borders of Rokugan, unless one of you has water, none of us are Shiginja.
The Kitsune reaches to his obi on his right rear side and produces a gourd that's been hardened and treated into a bit of a canteen, and he uncorks it and stops it and uh, offers to Gen. And he says, "Well, we have some. Let's." And I'll use a modern measurement here just so we all kind of have an understanding of it. I have a little over a liter of water here.
Then we must be very sparse with it. I don't know how long it will last us.
Between the four of us, it won't be a lot. The thing is that we will, if this is what I think it is, we will need to travel at night because the daytime will be extremely intemperate to us.
Well, it is night. Is everyone well enough to start walking?
Hayati stands up and takes the gourd back and stops it up and seals it up as best he can and sets it back to his belt, to his obi there, and goes and collects some of the pieces of his armor and his kabuto, his helmet, and says, I believe we can set out tonight. Do we have any way to know which direction we should go?
I think I can aim us. Maybe east?
Well,
Is that...
Lady Amaterasu set over in that direction. So I believe we might need to travel opposite.
Mm-hmm. Unless there is some
All right,
indicator for water.
And
Not that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you guys would like to make me a survival check, though, we can take a look for that.
I would be happy to, and I would like to use assistance from Sueno from my rank 2 bond, because survival is one of those skills that we definitely share.
Excellent. Oh, good thing that you you have that one as well as her. All right, let me go ahead and check on a TN here.
I'm assuming that water will be the way to go as we're going to.
There could be a
look
couple of
around.
different ways to take a
Yeah.
look. Yeah. So as far as trade skills go, earth is used to produce. So that's, how to create or build something to produce what you're looking for. Water would be exchange. But I think in this case, it would also be good to use the survey, I believe, from scholarly skills to search around. Innovate under fire could be to come up with some new and interesting way to find water. Air, the con approach, I don't think is going to become as relevant here. But the subsist avoid approach could also probably be fairly usable here.
All right.
So let's take a look here.
Well, I think I'll go looking around and see if I can find something a little bit more nearby, at least a sign of where water could be. So I'll go with the water for the survey style.
Excellent. I will go with a fire approach for my survival, for coming up with creative and inventive ways, in particular to use natural philosophy or other skills that I might have to find out how to deal with this situation, maybe find some water.
No, that'll work well. All right, let's call it a because you are in an unknown area and it is fairly arid, I'm gonna make it a water TN5 and a fire TN4. Because you're innovating, it doesn't necessarily matter whether you are in an unknown location or not. I think it's just kind of up to how inventive you can be there. But it is still a very arid climate, so trying to figure out how to innovate water out of it could still be fairly difficult. So yeah, we'll call it a water TN5 and a fire TN4.
Perfect. I've got a water ring of 3 and a survival of 2.
All right, Hayate will give you a hand and assist you with skilled assistance.
I'll take it. Okay, so I knew this wasn't going to go super well, so I'm just going to take the 1 success and 1 opportunity. Clearly a failure with a TN of 5, but I'd like to use the opportunity to go ahead and get this done more efficiently. AKA, I realize that it's going to be very hard to find anything, so I stop earlier.
There you are. All right. So, realizing that this whole area is not but just scrub brushland at best, and that there is no real discernible signs of water or a spring or even a creek or anything like that nearby, you very quickly decide that that's going to be a foolish waste of your time and efforts, and you wrap it up quickly and move on. All right, Gin and Sueno.
Okay. I've got skilled assistance from Sueno, fire 3. So we'll give it a shot. Well, I got the 4 successes, but I can't keep the last one.
You were saying that you were going to use natural philosophy, which is an advantage that you have, which I think allows you to reroll 2, or is that the passion? Oh, it's just the passion. Ah.
Aren't you getting assistance?
Oh, yes, I am. I made it. That's right. I get to keep her dice.
Yes, you get to keep more dice. Also, did you not get a skill? Did you not get a skilled? So you should roll 1 additional white die for skilled
I don't
assistance?
have the skill myself.
Ah, okay, got it.
I get it.
But
I get it through my
she
bond.
does give you get it through your bond, which says that you get to count as having assistance on it. Yeah. All right then.
All right. So miraculously, I actually do manage to make it with 4 successes and 2 strife, thanks to some skilled assistance from Sueno and the times that we have had to survive together through the tsunami and other events. So I am trying to come up with creative things to do. Is there some cactus juice for us?
Either something like that. You could come up with some sort of root vegetable, or a thing that would also work is if you were to pull out a furoshiki and some sort of if you could even assemble some bit of twigs to kind of tent it up, you can set it over hot sand, and overnight it will collect humidity, and you can suck the water out of the cloth in the morning.
Okay. So we discuss those approaches and keep an eye out for promising cacti or other things. Water in them.
Other bits of strange bits. Cacti you probably have only heard of in stories so much, or if you've ever visited some of the more esoteric gardens of the Unicorn Clan. But you at least have heard that there are water-bearing plants out here that do you look prickly and uninviting, but can provide you with all sorts of moisture, almost like a melon, once you're able to get past the exterior.
All right. It's a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, and like I said, even if it's not much, you have learned kind of that trick of trying to capture water in a cloth from when there was no other sources of water after the tsunami that were untainted.
Cool.
So that's hopefully enough to get you guys going a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an excellent idea there. That should help us get moving along a little bit further on.
Yes, but we can't walk all night if we're going to have time to set it up and wait for the dew to fall as the air grows warmer.
That's fair. That's fair. We'll just have to decide if we want to travel during the day at that point, which could be dangerous, but that's conversely, we would have more water to take in.
Well, one thing at a time. Let's walk for tonight.
All right. So, walking out tonight, I need to know who is going to be put kind of in charge of leading your group and trying to navigate out of here. Who's going to make the check? And who is going to assist?
Ooh.
You're probably better at survival.
I would say Richi's pride is like, yes, he will take charge of this, but I don't know. I kind of want Sueno to help out on this one.
Sueno can help.
Sueno can definitely lend a hand. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. At which point, then yeah, Richi will, just kind of adjust all the clothes, the kimono that's now been torn a little bit from the last battle. Just kind of readjust as much as he can and looks towards the direction and starts walking the way that he feels he needs to go. So we'll just go ahead and make ourselves that survival check.
Okay. So I will point out that on our calendar, being that it is about Hida 2 right now, that puts us into a no moon situation. So it is pretty pitch black out there right now. So you do run the risk of causing injury. So any roll that for navigating or for marching through the night that gets 3 or more strife on it will result in someone suffering a critical injury.
Oh boy.
Okay. All right.
Desert backlash.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Just one thing. From the kind of slanty stuff I've done, can I reduce my strife by 3 for my passion?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Okay. So,
no,
thank you.
No, that should have been a given for the last roll. Yes, that you were using science and natural philosophy keys off that passion, definitely. All right. So Sueno will give you skilled assistance, and you need to hit a TN of 4 to march through here in darkness. I'm sorry, TN3. I'm sorry, TN3, because the hazard, the other major part is the hazard itself. So yeah, never mind.
Whew, I will take the TN3.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the same thing and going for water. Actually, no, wait, hang on one sec. Okay, instead, I would like to do this as earth.
Okay.
Because it's more or less, even though it's a produce kind of style, really, I want to go more slowly. I want to take this a little bit more cautiously.
Absolutely. I think earth is a great stance to take for doing that this way, and hopefully that will, reduce anyone's injury in case it does come up. So let's go ahead and do an earth survival TN3.
Perfect. I have an earth ring of 3 and a survival of 2 with skilled assistance from Sueno.
All right. And then do you have any advantages or disadvantages that you think would key off here at this situation?
Ooh. Actually, no. I really don't think I do. Because the only thing I could think of that might potentially kick in with this would be quick reflexes, just to kind of halt someone before they, fall into a snake's den or whatnot.
Yeah, no, that I still think is maybe a bit much. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't quite fit. The other things of Paragon of Compassion, Paragon of Honor, and then Student of Akodo really don't fit. survival in the desert. So I'll just have to take what I've got.
Not so much. Yep, that's fine.
And I think I'm going to go a little bit more on the risky side here. And I'm not claiming the initial third, the initial third success, so I can add on a skill and a ring dice because I have 2 explodings. I try to avoid the third strife if I can,
Got it.
which I will take. So, with that, I will take the 3 successes, the 1 strife, and the 1 opportunity. The opportunity will be used to make make sure that we're going through a little bit more carefully and cautiously throughout this land.
All right. So yeah, no, you were able to navigate the pitch darkness of this area, able to catch whatever light you can from whatever sources do exist from the twinkling of the stars and whatnot to till dawn breaks. And luckily, yeah, no one was too terribly hurt or scuffed up during the night's march. And you head, you're pretty certain it's a fairly easterly direction. You know, you can't have made it totally straight line, but you're able to, you think, hold your bearing fairly well. And yeah, you guys are, well, so far ahead, but again, the terrain is not a hospitable or welcoming one. How do you guys kind of want to set up for the day with dawn coming up now and some light starting to give you some better visibility?
Well, we could use our Howries to set up something of a tent like thing. We haven't completely discarded them yet.
That would probably be for the best.
Just to give us some shade, and then make up a couple of little try and gather what water we can from the dew or something like that. But mostly we'll have to try and find some shade and rest to begin walking as soon as we're capable of it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and set this up. Kitsune-san, would you be happy to help us in this endeavor?
Of course. What would you like him to work on? Would you like him to work on trying to produce water or trying to find some shade?
Let's go ahead and have him produce the shade.
Okay. And do you want him to just kind of go off on his own and find this? Or do you want him assisting somebody?
Ooh. What do you think, Doji-san?
Well, is there anything within... It's day now, so is there anything within eyesight that's not small brush and...
Well, that would be what the check is going to try and uncover. For the first bit of untrained eye, as you look around, it's still mostly scrubland and some hills and dunes here and there. But like I said, this would be the survival check to really get a good lay of how things are going to be.
I was going to say, if that's the case, do we want Kitsune-san to go with Sueno-san? And we managed to see what we can do about the water situation here.
All right.
So Sueno and Hayate will attempt to locate some shade for you all. And let's see here. All right, so they get 4 successes, and they will each take 1 strife off of that check. And Hayate will have found a small hillock, but it will provide shade to the north side of it, so that for most of the day While it still might be kind of hot and sweltering, if you get down low, most of you can spend the majority of the day in some relative shade there behind this small little hill.
Great.
Okay, so while that's going on and they're out looking and we're handling the water here, Ricci will look over to Gen and say, "So last night was hectic. How are you feeling?"
That was Visho, wasn't it?
Yes, that very much looked like Bisho. I have no reason to doubt that that was anyone but.
How long has he been hiding that from us, do you think? Always? Must have been always.
I would have to assume so. I don't know much about Kitsune, but I know that if anything, they are long-lived creatures.
He must have thought us such fools.
I don't think so. I don't think he was doing it for anything malicious.
Why would he take Ryuji's baby then? How could that be anything but malicious?
That I ooh, that's I'm not sure that's something I'm really able to answer. If anything, he may have been acting under Inari Sama's instructions.
I hope Ryuji and Mariko are all right. I hope that, even though it's probably too much to hope for considering where we ended up, that she puts them to right. Keeps them safe somehow.
Well, I hope that she is in a position to do so. Because what happened last night was just a lot. And I'm not even sure what really happened.
That's true. I
remember seeing Sin there, but that's about it.
Yes. I am sure that the Kitsune would let Yui-san go once their business was resolved, I guess. I hope if she isn't blasted to some other place on the Empire or beyond it.
I hope so, but I mean, to be honest, she did assault some Kitsune samurai, and I'm sure no matter what territory you're at in the Empire, that's looked upon unfavorably.
True.
Much less a Shugenja of the Kitsune family.
That's true. I suppose we won't have to worry about that.
We can worry about it when we get back into the Empire.
There is a question I will ask you, but I think we can go another day or two before I have to ask it, so I won't.
Oh, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I have nothing to hide.
Well, very well. She seems to be thinking really, really hard about how to ask this one.
Richie's just very politely just going about his business at the time. So not any pressure on Gen for this one.
Richi-san, if your honor is such that you would require a second, then you should tell me before I can no longer lift a sword.
Thankfully, it has not yet come to that. But I will do my best to make sure that all of us get back to the Empire in the best condition that we can. And that you have my word.
You have always been very optimistic, and I know that I can trust the word of Anakoto. So, thank you.
Ricci nods, but just kind of goes back to more of a silent contemplation.
I'm going to start working on water.
All right. TN2 Fire Survival. And let's give Gin 1 honor for courtesy.
Thank you.
And with that, could I actually lose an honor on that? Because I kind of skirted around the whole B show thing.
You know, why not? I think that seems fitting. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and have you lose 1 for sincerity, Makoto.
Done.
Again, not an outright lie, just kind of skirting that fact.
How very Scorpion of me. Jeez.
Okay. I did not succeed at my water check here. I got
That's fair. That
I got
happens.
3 opportunities and one success with Strife. I'm going to use 1 opportunity to remove the Strife, but let me figure out what to do with the opportunities.
Of course, no. Feel free to look around, and if you want, more than willing to let you cross spend those, so you can spend 2 to get any 1 from another element that isn't water.
Okay, I want to use it to provide assistance to the next character to attempt to check at something similar.
All right, sounds good. So, next check for someone to locate water or to produce water will gain assistance on it. That sounds great. All right. So, unfortunately, you guys are down of any fresh water for the day, and so I'm going to go ahead and reduce water reserves by about 1/3. So you have about 2/3 of a liter now, and it's getting real low. But that's kind of as much as you guys can spare before you guys decide you need to hold on to it a little bit more. But it's really just about enough to slack your thirst, but just for a few moments there. It's still another dry, hot day that you spend trying to hide in the shifting shade under a hill that is mostly made up of sand, and as the wind blows hotly overhead, it just sends specks of dust and sand into your eyes and mouth, and it gets into just about everything that you're wearing, and every breath and every uh, bite of anything that you try to find for food from the few little kind of rationy rice cakes that Hayate has, which are not many, to chewing on what scrub brushes you guys can find that has some sort of bulb or nutrients on that you can chew on for a bit, but it really does come down to feeling like you're almost chewing on sticks for most of the day, but at least it helps to give you something to bite down and chew on. But at this point, you guys are all just feeling awful and just sweaty and sticky and just gritty is getting to affect you. Everyone take 2 fatigue and 2 strife.
Okay, that's not good. That puts me up to 7 fatigue and 9 strife.
Oof. Yeah, it's not a good day. And while you've all doing your best to sip on as little water as possible, there's a couple times where people start to grumble at each other. It hasn't erupted into a full-on argument or fight yet, but definitely people are getting a little irritated with well, not necessarily each other, but the situation in general is not a great one, and it's only been about a full day or so since you guys got here. But that does take you on into night, and night gives you a bit of a respite. It cools off considerably, and with all the sweat in your clothes, it actually starts to kind of make you shiver and shake. The nights are very, very cold, and what used to be that real nasty hot air blowing off the top of the dunes is now whipping around you as this bitingly cold, chill wind with nothing to deflect it away from you all. There's no trees or that to really like hide behind from the wind, and now it's almost you've gone from baking during the day to shivering and chittering throughout the night with your teeth just kind of clacking against each other. Yeah, what's the plan of action on the next day, or the next night, I should say? Still a no moon, probably the last of the no moon days. You'll start to see the moon peek back out after tonight, if Gen's memory is to be relied upon, and it usually is.
Ooh, okay, this is a lot more chill than I was expecting.
I'm glad we didn't leave our Howries behind.
Well, I wish mine was in better condition. So I try to kind of cover up a little bit more so.
Well,
But I think now's the time that we should start moving.
yes. Let us keep moving.
Hayate is coming up, and so which direction should we head? I gotta admit that it's difficult for me to mark out the landscapes. Every time I try to look to where Lady Sun sets, it looks like those hills shift on me, and I can't make out a distinct feature from one to the next. And yes, for the both of you now, if you look back, definitely the horizon where you saw the sun set, it's definitely not kind of looking the same way that it was before. And yeah, you're not quite sure how to account for it, but for whatever reason, the hills and the shape of things seems to have shifted.
We can only do the best we can.
Oh.
I can try and navigate by the stars.
That will probably be our best way forward.
Give it a shot.
All right.
I can offer you skilled assistance.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, this one with for celestial navigation, this will be another role that will depend on natural science, and you can use survival or seafaring here. In fact, I will give a -1 TN for using seafaring, since it is a underutilized skill in the game, and I think this is actually an area where it will actually, its traditions and knowledge could actually be helpful here for doing, as you said, celestial navigation. But that said, I believe that Ricci can only provide you with skilled assistance to survival and unskilled for seafaring.
Right, yeah, I can do unskilled seafaring.
Yeah.
But Sueno can do skilled seafaring. She's pretty good at trade.
She can indeed. That is true. Yeah, she is skilled in trade. So if you want to work with Sueno to try to navigate by the stars, yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay.
Yeah, and for this, I would think that either Earth, by doing it from memory and things that you have read, would be applicable, but so would Fire to innovate or kind of trailblaze with your own ideas would also, I think, be suitable here for this check. But up to you. What approach do you think might work?
I'm going to use Earth.
Okay, there you go. So yeah, using your knowledge and memory. There we go. So in this case, I will also say that you can reroll 2 dice with your a memory advantage.
Thank you. And let's give it a shot. Did you say the TN?
Oh, I might not have, but it is going to be TN3 with Seafaring.
Nope. Oh, but I can reroll.
You can reroll. Yep.
All right. That did it.
But yes, there you go. You still wound up with your success. So 3 successes and 1 opportunity and 2 strife.
And I would like to use the opportunity to remove 2 strife off of Ricci.
Thank you.
There you go. Excellent. This was also another natural philosophy check, so you can go ahead and remove 3 strife off of yourself for a net loss of 1.
Gotta love my science, I guess. I will just nerd my way into
Mhm.
oblivion.
Hey, it works. This is actually where you are shining, you know. Even though you are in a life and death situation, you can't help but smile when you look up to the stars and you pick up a stick and you start to notch it here and there to make yourself some very primitive instruments to kind of gauge where certain things are here and there, and you make your way through the darkness of night, and you when the sun starts to rise again the next day, you realize that you've laid out a course that did keep you mostly heading east, and that's what you were looking for. So there you go, 2 nights in a row. You've made good progress, but what that means in the grand scheme of things, you aren't entirely sure. So morning starts to come up the next day, and how are you going to try to use what water you have? That and Hayate lets you know that this is kind of it for what rice cakes he had with him. He just had a few dried rice cakes in his for Shiki when he left for the day. He didn't think he would be, out this long.
Well, as we get to the last rice cake, right? And we're kind of splitting it up to share. Gen is going to actually kind of make an overly formal, almost ceremony of thanking him for the food. Does that make sense? Like he has
Absolutely.
done a great and treats it as if this was like a formal feast or something like that, like very respectfully, because if you are going to go out with style, and be grateful for what you've been given. So she
I
goes
like
full
that.
courtesy.
Um, let's actually make that not just a Let's make sure that gesture goes over as well as you hope. It might be too grand a gesture in a situation like this for some people. I mean, at least they're not a Hida. But yeah, let's go with a hidden TN for a void point, courtesy check, versus Hayate. So yeah, again, you can have a void point, or I can tell you the TN. Up to you.
I'm still at full void, so why don't you tell me the TN?
All right. What approach are you going to be using?
I am looking at that right now. I think, given the circumstance, even though it's not my strongest ring, I think that I want to do this in void stance. Because this is kind of a spiritual moment.
There you go. I like how like you said, you want to make it ceremonial and almost spiritual. So in that case, it is a TN3 to impart your sincerity in this and not make it into something that he will, find embarrassing or overly dramatic.
Oh well. I guess I could have spent the void and gained void, and it doesn't matter. Oh well. I didn't succeed.
Do you have any? Well, let's take a look. Do you have anything here that
I'm a paragon of sincerity.
you are indeed? I was going to say I'm pretty sure I know of at least one advantage here that will key off. So yes, feel free to use Paragon of Sincerity to reroll 2 dice.
I still didn't make it. That was amazing.
You still didn't make it. But you only have a shortfall of 1, so it's not terrible. If you also would like to do your thing, Doji Diplomat's school ability would key off here if you would like, and you can also just have a whole flood of opportunities that you might be able to spend to your advantage in this situation.
Okay.
But I will say for the effect is that Hayate will gain 3 honor. You will gain 1 honor for sincerity, but he will also gain 1 strife, just kind of from the embarrassment of it. Oh, this is just a rice cake, and you're getting very flowery and very formal, as if this was like, the greatest thing that has been presented before the emperor. So it's one of those things where it's kind of embarrassing and flustering to a somewhat backwater woodsy Bushi here, but it is something that also is not the worst outcome possible.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and use my doji opportunities here too. And I'm going to use a whole bunch of void up here. So, or void opportunities here. So I will spend 2 opportunities. Right, hold on. Let's just a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 opportunities on this. I'll spend 2 to remove the strife. Okay.
Okay, excellent.
I will spend 2. Well, what I'd like to do as kind of with my void opportunities, I'll see if I can do this first rather than just looking at the tables. All right. I want to see if I can use this opportunity to help everybody feel more at peace, like we are more centered. And
I think that's an excellent usage of a void opportunity. It is the the ring of subsistence and also of sacrifice, and I think that doing your best and being thankful for what meager rations he had on him is gonna if you have just one rice cake left and you've got to make a feast out of just this one thing, well, let's be as happy and satiated as we can with it. So, let's spend 3, and it will give everyone the feeling as if you have had a meal this evening, even though you all just split one measly rice cake.
Cool. So that's 5 opportunities, and then I'll use the last opportunity to reduce the TN of my next fire check.
There you go. Excellent. I like it. All right. Ricci, anything that you're thinking of there?
Well, funny enough, this is just a rice cake. It's really nothing much, and I haven't had a good meal in a while, or at least since 2 nights ago. Could I voluntarily invert my passion of gourmet and gain a void point in 3 strife?
I think that sounds perfectly fair.
I need the void points.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
we make there's this whole ceremony going on, and Ricci's just sitting here going like, it's just a rice cake. We really don't need to go anything into it. This is just it. Okay, sure, it's filling, but I mean, we could go for a little bit of soy on here. Maybe this needs a little bit something extra.
Even just a little bit of Tabiko would be wonderful. Yeah. I'd even settle for some of that real old bonito that my grandmother used to like that I hated. Yeah. Just shave a little bit of that on top. Absolutely. Looking for anything that you could get out of that that was a little bit more than what it was, but at the end of the day, it is just a quarter of a rice cake.
Yep.
Excellent. I like that. So 3 strife to Ricci. Does that compromise you, or did Gen's earlier help keep you from becoming compromised at this point?
I'm right there at it. I'm at 10 of 12.
10 of 12. All right. Right in that edge. Oh, man. All right. Well, she's trying. She's trying real hard there. All right. So with that, I think we can move on to kind of our survival checks. Who wants to attempt to try and find shade with a TN3 survival check? And or who would like to try and work up some water or food?
Well, I think Ricci's, water is very important, and we've got it's a tiny source of it, but not that much. But we do also need food, and I'm not really wanting quarter rice cake meal again. So I think Ricci's going to go try to forage a bit.
Okay, so you're going to go on foraging. And again, what are you going to be doing?
Again, we'll go with Sueno, and we'll try and find some shade.
Okay, and Hayate will go with Ricci and Lindahan there. He will give skilled assistance to Ricci, and Sueno will, of course, give skilled assistance to Gen in trying to locate a proper place to set up for getting you all out of the sun.
All right.
So I think with my survival check, I'm going to go void to subsist. At this point, it doesn't matter what we eat. We just got to have something.
Just gotta find something. Hope you could find some of those cacti or that Gen was going on about. So let's go ahead and call that a TN3 void survival check with skilled assistance from Hayate.
All right. Survival is still at 2, and my void is 3 with that assistance.
All right. And then for Gen, it'll be a TN2 survival check to try to find a proper place to find some shade here.
Okay, so I'm going to try and do that with fire, trying to be creative, and that will make it a TN1 for what it's worth.
Perfect. All right, so Ricci, how'd it turn out?
So I got my 3 successes with a strife and an opportunity. So thankfully, we can use the opportunity. Well, I'm trying to decide what I want to use the opportunity on.
I think the opportunity could be used to gain a little bit of both, as it were, for your foraging. That you could find some of these cactuses or cacti that Doji Gen was on about, or at least some sort of vegetable that is slightly higher in moisture than the kind of sticks and twigs and roots that you've been kind of eating on from the spike bushes around you. You come across something that produces an actual if small, a small vegetable of some sort that is edible.
That works for me. As a note, that does put me up to 11 because even though I rolled void, I'm not in a stance, so I don't get to ignore
no
strength.
stances. Yep, absolutely. So gain a little bit more there for that, but yeah, you'll be able to come back with some food that is going to also provide some moisture. Actually, you're getting some actual water intake with your food here, which is actually where a majority of humans get their water intake throughout the day, is through eating. All right, and again, how did you do?
I had 2 successes, 2 opportunities, and 1 strife. And I would like to use the opportunities to basically provide assistance to the next character to attempt a check to accomplish something similar. So instead of getting 1 assistance, next time somebody tries to find shelter,
Oh, that's right.
they could do it a bit better.
That's true, but you also had it for the next time someone was out trying to find a water source. So, Ricci, go ahead and roll me 1 additional white die, and let's just see what you get.
Hey, I'll take that opportunity and success.
It doesn't get you much more because it's still only 1 additional success instead of an additional 2, but you could swap it for one of your successes up above instead, as it were, although you'd get to keep an extra die entirely if you wanted, so it's up to you. Let's see, what was your last check there? So yeah, you could either replace it. You place the one with the strife on it, so it's like you just never took that one, so you gain no strife on your check at all, and then you would have 2 opportunities, maybe for additional water or for something else, or you could also take it just as an extra success. And what would that do for you? It would just give you the extra opportunity. I don't know, but effectively, you're just getting another opportunity if you want, either which way on this check.
Okay. With that, I'll take the success and I'll take all of the dice. So I'll still keep the strife on it.
Okay.
So it's an additional success, which is really nice. Puts us to 4 over the target number of 3. And then for the 2 opportunities, let's go with.
Are they particularly succulent plants and vegetables that you find, so that you could actually possibly squeeze some water out of them or carry some with you so that you have something to eat onto the next, either a more bountiful grab as you were, something that you could also tie up into a furoshiki and keep with you?
Yeah, that's more what I was thinking. Not necessarily that they're more, water retaining, but we just find more of them.
Sounds good. All right, so yeah, you come back with like a whole furoshiki, a whole cloth bag, as it were, full of these bits of fruit and plant leaves and other type of desert succulents that you can eat and at least suck the water out of at times on other ones of the other pieces of them, because you're not quite sure. You're not always up on all of these plants. Some of them are much better tasting than others, but yeah, you are able to get something to eat and something that also helps with your thirst, which is fantastic. All right. And then on the other end with Gen, how did you wind up with your check?
I ended up with 2 successes, which was over the one that I needed, and 2 opportunities and 1 strife. I'm going to go ahead and keep the strife, spend the 2 opportunities to help the next person trying to find shelter. The way that I'm going to help them is that instead of going out and searching for shelter this time, I am going to take our Harry's and kind of invent a tent. that we can kind of shelter under. And then it will be easier next time for them to find shelter because they know how to make a tent out of Harry's. Because I invented it.
Yeah, you've invented this thing. So yeah, you take some of the extra things as you've probably learned over the years of cosplay and just loving L5R in general. Women's obies also have a bunch of cordage that go with them, obi jimis and other pieces like that you can take off of both you and Sueno's things. There's a little bit of cordage in a men's kimono, but not as much. You could also take probably the additional belts to your under kimono off and use those to help kind of make ridge lines for a tent and other things like that. So long as you can find 2 trees or rather sturdy bushes to tie your cordage off to, you can make a bit of a ridge line and create a very small facsimile of a tent. It's mostly just good for shade, but hey, it'll help out quite a bit on the worst days here. I'm Robert, or Bayoshi Shinichi, your host and narrator, thanking you once again for listening. Remember to catch new episodes every Monday. If you want to catch them early or are looking for more bonus content, please consider becoming a supporting member of the Patreon at patreon.com/CourtGames.
I am Tyler, and I've been playing Akoto Richie. You can find me on my personal accounts on Twitter at ChurcherGames or on Twitch, also as ChurcherGames. You can find the show on the web at CourtGamesPod.com, on social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram under Fortune and Strife, and on Twitter at L5RFNS. If you would like to contact us, you can email the show at fortuneandstrife@gmail.com.
This is Jeanne, aka Kakita Kaori, and also known as, at least today, Doji Gen. You can find me at my blog at the Winter Garden of the Kakita website, along with helpful materials for the RPG, and also on Twitter at White Veils or on Facebook. If you like, I am also found on the CourtGames RPG podcast as a writer for Emerald Legacy, or check out The Table Is Yours for fiction readings of the FFG stories.
This has been Fortune and Strife, a Court Games production in association with D20 Radio Network and the Rokugana Historical Society.
Correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com